Hey y'all, if this is your first time to my channel because all of a sudden the Ashes of Creation hype is blowing up because the verbal NDA has been lifted, my name is Zillin. I make YouTube and Twitch content for Ashes of Creation and have done so for about the last 4 years or so, and I will be making plenty more of this content going into the future, so make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell because over the next several hours I'm going to be releasing multiple videos breaking down all of the different aspects of Ashes of Creation that you guys all want to know about: the combat, the questing, the crafting, like all that stuff. So make sure you do that. But on to the video on this one. This one is going to be all about server stability, server performance, optimization, and graphics in Ashes of Creation. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The early test, I was in the earliest wave, like the first wave of people that got invited to test in the pre-alpha 2 testing. That initial 1,000 testers, I was in that one. So I've been there since the very beginning of this, and those early tests were rough, especially the first test. They actually were having us log in 20 people at a time. They couldn't even have everybody log in. They'd log in 20 people, they'd get them to go teleport somewhere far away, log in 20 more, and do it like that for, it took us like an hour to log in, 300 or 400 people or something like that. And I remember thinking, there's no way Alpha 2 is launching in 3 months or 2 months, however long ago that was, because it's all been a blur since then. My life's I'm a very busy man, but I thought there was no way. But the next test was a little better. And the test after that was a little better. And the test after that was a little better. And it just kept getting better and better and better. And then there was a couple of like major leaps forward in terms of how the servers were performing. And it's gotten better and better and better to the point now where we had this most recent build on the PTR. That I would say is 90% of what you want. It's almost everything that you would want out of the servers, except for we haven't slammed it with thousands and thousands, 100,000. There's 100,000 of y'all out there who are waiting to get access to this game. At least 100,000. That was like 2 years ago they said that. So we haven't tested that part of it, obviously. But as far as how the servers perform, once people get on the servers and kind of spread out and are doing their own thing, it's fine. There are still a few little issues here and there. There's some times when you'll go up to a gathering node and go, a rock or a tree or something, and you can't chop it, you can't mine it. You can interact with it all you want, but nothing happens. There's sometimes where the mobs get stuck in the ground and you're shooting them and they're just stuck there, and you can just shoot them from safety and kill them and get all the experience and rewards for doing so without any risk at all. And there's actually a problem that's been pretty wild, that NPCs, and by NPCs I mean mobs, are spawning as friendly. Like they're spawning like they are guards in a town or something like that. But they're friendly to you, but you aren't friendly to them. And so you can't attack them because the game thinks they're like a guard or a NPC in the city, but they can attack you all they want. So it could be like a little level 2 nothing that you could just easily kill if the game would just let you, but you can't. It's following you around, attacking you, and making your life hell. Yeah, it's a minor nuisance, but I will say that in this most recent test, I've only seen that a few times. It's been very, very minimal, where it was pretty prevalent in all the previous tests. So they've gotten better and better and better and better, and the rate at which these guys improve is miraculous. Like they're just this is the feeling that I got. I felt like when we went into these tests, because they would get us all on the Discord stage, and it would be, Margaret and Steven, or Margaret and Vacnar, and some of the mods, and then it would be one of the Jacob, which is the guy that I think he's like the lead server engineer or something like that. I don't actually know what his title is, but he's clearly, knows what he's doing. And they would talk to us about the test, what we were testing and all that stuff. And it felt like they knew how it was going to perform before we started the test. We did the test. It performed exactly as they knew it would. They already had a plan where they said, if the server performs like we're sure it will, this is the next step. And then that's what happened. It performed how they said it would. They performed the next step. The next week it would be better. And every week it felt like that. It felt like they knew they had a specific plan and they were sticking with that plan and they knew how things were going to work, and it just worked every time. And so I can't speak highly enough about the Intrepid team, regardless of what you guys are going to think about Alpha 2 once you get in there, because maybe it's not all the way ready for 100,000 people to be jumping into the game. Regardless of that, the team and how fast and how well they're responding to things is incredible. That said, I do believe that what's going to happen is we're going to get into the servers on Friday and 100,000 people are going to swamp the game, and the experience, the early game experience, especially when everybody's in Lionhold at one time, it's going to be muddy. It's going to be difficult. People are going to be trying to get away from Lionhold. There are going to be people like me who I've been playing for the last 2.5, 3 months, so I don't need to read the quests and I can just run out of Lionhold and be out of there. But there's going to be a lot more people that are not like me, who haven't been playing all this time, and they're going to be going, oh, okay, so control dodge rolls. Oh, and let me go read this quest and that sort of thing. And so that's going to make they need people getting out of Lionhold, but people are going to be staying in Lionhold because they're trying to like figure out the game, how to move and stuff. So my prediction is Friday is going to be relatively rough. But here's my prediction, my second prediction. On Saturday, they will take down the servers. They'll be gone down for several hours. They'll bring them back up, and it will be much, much better. Or it'll be the next weekend, the second weekend of Alpha 2 testing, where when we get back in, we'll all slam the servers and we'll be like, oh my God, the improvement is dramatic. And that's just based on experience. You know, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. This is how they've acted in the past and how it's responded. So I think that's what we're looking at for the future is much, 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 much better. As far as optimization, and the way I define optimization is basically how the game runs on different machines and different systems. I have a pretty beefy machine. It's not the best machine in the entire world. I'm not trying to brag, but I do have a fairly beefy machine. I can play the game in 4K on maximum graphics, get 60 frames per second. Like, it runs like butter for me. It's a dream. It runs great. The only problems I ever had were lag related, not graphical related or anything like that. So if you have a good machine and you can run it on maximum, great. It runs great. I do have some friends who were in the pre-Alpha 2 testing. Their machines are not quite as good as mine. A couple of them have fairly bad machines. I would say machines that are actually below the required specifications. They had more problems than me, and they definitely couldn't run it in 60 frames per second. And they had various ping and lag related issues that I was not having. So that definitely does seem to be a problem. As you step down in the quality of your machine, it's going to get a little bit rougher for you. However, if you have a pretty good, I think if you have a 4000 series graphics card, and a roughly equivalent processor, you'll be fine. But you start, the 3080s is a step down, and then you start getting into that 2000 series, like my old 2070 Super, it wouldn't be nearly as good. So I think that's where we're standing right now with the optimization of the game. I would say it's about average, maybe a little below average. There's work to be done in that area. The last area that I want to talk about is graphics. The graphics in Alpha 2, it's just like the machine, or like the server. The optimization. It's totally machine dependent. I'm playing on, like I said earlier, on 4K. Graphics maxed out. I can turn on all the pretty things, all the stuff, the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, the Lumen, and I don't remember all the technology words that come with Unreal Engine 5, but I can turn it all on, and the game is really pretty. But if you even if you go to medium, but especially if you go to low, the world feels very, very flat. And I don't mean that from a topography standpoint, like there's not hills and mountains, but like there's no grass. The grass is flowing in the wind, and with high graphics or ultra graphics, but on low, it's like painted on grass, and the trees aren't nearly as nice, and the rocks don't look as good, and all that stuff, and the world just looks flat, kind of dull, muted. So again, if you're not rocking a 4000 series card, I think that the game's not going to look as good for you. However, the thing is, we are testing this game for stability. Phase 1. is about server stability. That's what phase 1 of this testing is about. So they're going to be making these things better and better and better and better. But I want you to be prepared. If you're coming into this with a low-end machine, Ashes might not run particularly well for you. Maybe it will. Maybe they'll have it addressed by then, by next week, because they do work really, really fast. But my experience with my friends who have lower-end machines, they were struggling a little bit to play Ashes of Creation. Just to play it, really, was a little bit of a struggle. But, you know, they did it anyways because, you know, we're all chomping at the bit to play. So that's really all I have for this video on this specific topic. Again, make sure that you've subscribed and you click the notification bell. As soon as I publish this video, I'm going to start working on a video on combat. So that's going to be the next thing. I'm going to be talking to you guys all about the combat, everything I've experienced, and all the different classes and all that stuff. So I'll see you guys here very shortly in the next video.